Okay, we all know that Game of Thrones makes no bones about its raw edge and being super violent, right? But, is some of it in poor taste? Hey guys, I'm Rebecca from WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Game of Thrones really crossed the line. Think you know Game of Thrones? Click below to sign in with your Google or Facebook account and take the new trivia quiz on WatchMojo.com. We're looking at those moments in this wildly popular HBO fantasy series that had audiences gasping, cringing, or just turning off their screens in disgust. That means we will be issuing both a mature content warning and a spoiler warning. All right, let's see what George R.R. Martin has in store for us. Number 10, Cersei, Jaimes, and pushing Bran out the window.
Are you completely mad?
He saw us.
That's all right, it's all right, it's all right.
He saw us.
I heard you the first time.
The very first episode had a lot of characters to establish, and it did a fantastic job of highlighting personalities while setting the tone for the coming season. We first see Bran as a curious and adventurous little boy, really too curious for his own good. After climbing up an abandoned tower at Winterfell, he comes across a startling scene. The Queen and her twin brother making the beast with two backs. Jaimes stops him from running off and decides to resolve the matter by pushing the boy out the window. The surprising scene set up the no one is safe theme that the show became famous for. Fortunately, Bran survives, but ew, Lannisters, ew.
Things I do for love.
Number 9, the mountain kills his horse. A commonly used method for giving a character official bad guy status is to demonstrate their negative attitude towards animals. This is generally done with a simple dislike of dogs or some other villainous spurn, but when you're talking about Sir Gregor the Mountain Clegane, everything is over the top. In the ultimate rage quit, after losing a joust to Sir Loras Tyrell, he kills his mount with a blow from his greatsword. Poor horse! The disturbing death and poor sportsmanship is something of a buzzkill for the joust spectators. Of course, it wouldn't be the last shocking death at the hands of the mountain.
Stop this madness in the name of your... Let him go!
Number 8, Robin breastfeeding.
Look at him, the Lord of all the Vale.
After taking Tyrion as her captive, Lady Catelyn Stark seeks shelter at the Eyrie, home of her sister Lysa Arryn. The Lady of the Great House greets her guests in the audience room of the castle alongside her son Robin, who is actively breastfeeding despite being way too old for it. The look on everyone's faces says it all. Not only is it cringeworthy enough to make audiences feel like throwing themselves out the moon door, we're pretty sure that's edging into abuse territory. Fortunately, a prosthetic boob was used for the scene, but it's still a wicked gross way to demonstrate that this lady is one raven short of a roost.
I want to see the bad man fly.
Number 7, Theon's torture.
Where am I? Who are you?
Of all the terrible character journeys, Theon has perhaps had it the worst. One could argue that he brought it on himself, betraying Robb, killing innocent children, his clumsy capture of Winterfell and beheading of Sir Roderick, but seriously, Karma, this might be overkill. Over the course of multiple episodes in Season 3, Theon is brutally tortured. The barbaric scenes do not let up, and there's just something so horrible about someone frantically begging for mercy. It is deeply disturbing. Of course, when you think it can't get worse, Theon is viciously castrated. Tortured both physically and psychologically, Theon becomes a husk of his former self, and audiences were left shaken.
What is your name?
Number 6, Oberyn Martell's death.
Don't leave me alone in this world.
Never.
By Season 4, audiences were starting to feel like they'd seen it all. The hardened viewers had watched their favorite characters die off or just disappear, endured scenes of torture and betrayal, breathlessly and patiently awaited the army of the dead, and then this happened.
Say it!
Even those who had read the scene in the book and knew what was coming were shocked by the graphic nature of the moment. To be honest, Eladia Sand's scream was all of us. We knew not to get too attached to any one character, but seriously, this is audience abuse. Number 5, Cersei's Walk of Atonement.
She has confessed her sins and begged for forgiveness. To demonstrate her repentance, she will cast aside all pride, all artifice, and present herself as the gods made her. To you.
Ruthless, manipulative, and ambitious though she is, Cersei's motivation is her family, and she will do anything for her children. When she's unable to control the monster she created in the High Sparrow, she's charged with high treason, fornication, and incest, among other things. As atonement, she's forced to walk naked and dirty, head shaved, back to the Red Keep, pelted with garbage and curses all the way. Considering that her charges were actually no worse than things most other characters in the show have done, and she's the only one to be publicly humiliated for it, it's hard not to feel a little sorry for the cruel queen.
Grace.
It's good to have you back.
Number 4, The Red Wedding. This is perhaps the most infamous scene in the entire series. After the death of Eddard Stark, it looked like Robb was on track to avenge his father and take the North back as its own kingdom. Having never lost a battle, the young wolf seemed unstoppable, despite making a few little miscalculations along the way. Michelle Fairley's powerful performance only ratchets up the tension until the final brutal cut. To this day, the haunting refrain of the Reigns of Castamere remains the melody of treachery and defeat.
The king in the north arises.
The abrupt end to the King in the North storyline shocked fans everywhere, and left viewers wondering upon whom they should pin their hopes moving forward.
Mother. The Lannisters send their regards.
Number 3, The Fate of Shireen Baratheon.
Hear us now, my lord. To you we offer up this girl, that you may cleanse her with your fire, and that its light may lead our way.
Please, no, please let me see my...
One of the only truly innocent characters in the show, Shireen Baratheon, the only child of Stannis Baratheon, is sweet and kind to everyone she meets. As Stannis' bid for the throne continues to falter, Melisandre convinces him that the Lord of Light requires a sacrifice. Brought to the pyre, Shireen dies seeing her mother and father do nothing to save her, despite her heartbreaking pleas for help. Her mother Selyse belatedly tries to take it back, but it's far too late. It's one of the hardest scenes to watch in the entire series, and we were more than happy to see Stannis meet Brienne in the very next episode.
Go on, do your duty.
Number 2, Jaime's actions towards Cersei following Joffrey's death.
Please give the queen a moment alone with her son.
Yes, Lord.
All of you.
Finally returned to King's Landing after a long captivity, Jaime finds Cersei in the Great Sept of Baelor mourning the death of their son Joffrey. His comfort soon turns aggressive as he begins to force intercourse despite Cersei telling him to stop. The scene is even worse when you know that in the book, the sex is consensual, meaning the show went out of its way to make it rape. The gratuitous scene caused a huge uproar among fans, with showrunners and producers doing some major damage control after the episode aired, claiming it was bad editing and camera work that made it look like the intended consensual sex was assault. Right.
It's not right. It's not right.
I don't care.
Number 1, what happens to Sansa on her wedding night.
Oh, no, no, no. You stay here, Reek. You watch.
It's been widely noted that Game of Thrones has a problem when it comes to rape and sexual portrayals of women. In a show that is well cast with many excellent female characters, by season 5 it was apparent that there was a disproportionate and increasing rate of sexual assaults against them. To throw up hands and say, well, that's just the story, is not good enough or accurate, and audiences finally reached a breaking point with the rape of Sansa Stark. Like the other assault on this list, this part is not in the book. The showrunners literally wrote in an audibly graphic scene for no reason. Well, you got everyone's attention, now do better. Well, that was a lot. And what is the deal with bad guys always not liking / killing animals? Anyway, let us know in the comments what Game of Thrones moments you thought crossed the line. And be sure to like, subscribe, and check out this handy dandy Game of Thrones playlist to cleanse your palate.